I'm Marc, Training Manager at Bureau Control, and today I'm continuing our how-to series. Today, how to install a door lock. The first step in installing the door lock is picking the right lock. We want to do direct replacement so that we don't have to drill any holes or modify our door in any way. So if you have a deadbolt, you want to replace that with a direct replacement of a deadbolt. If you only have a doorknob, then you would want to use a lever lock. So let's get started. You were probably expecting me to start unscrewing and removing my existing deadbolt, but that is not the first step. The first step is to pair our lock to our existing Vera system. So in front of me is my Vera Lite controller, and I've unpacked the box of my Yale YRD220. The YRD220 from Yale is our best-selling lock in our shop.getvera.com store. Now, the important pieces that I need to get started are the owner's manual. I know we're in technology, but in this case, you really do want to read the owner's manual because it tells you how to install their lock. Not every lock like this installs exactly the same way, and when you plug the connector into the back of the module with the batteries, can make a really big difference in how this thing is going to work. Another important thing that's in the package is this alert message from Yale. Call us first. We're here to help. Same thing with Vera. If you're having a problem with the physical installation, contact Yale. If you're having a problem with the Vera interface, contact us at support@getvera.com. Now, the three pieces that I need to get started are the interior module, and I want to remove this cover. There's a screw, but I'm not ready to install the batteries yet. I also want to take this back panel and the big rubber gasket and put them aside for the time being. So I want to have access to this wiring harness here in the back, and I need to have access to the battery compartment. Then the important piece on the exterior module is this wiring cable and the wiring harness. And the first step is to plug those two together. Then the second step, and you need to look to the back of the manual to find this step. This is really cool on part of Yale. Rather than manufacture the Z-Wave chip onto the circuit board, it's a plug-in module. It just helps them manufacture more efficiently. To make it easier, you want to pull back on the plastic tab at the very top. And we'll slide that in. There we go. Nice, good, solid snap. And then the next step is to install the batteries. So I'm going to pop my batteries in here.
Welcome to Yale Real Living.
The next step is to now go to our Vera user interface and start pairing this lock with our Vera Lite. Like always, we're going to start at the device menu, and we're going to click on Add Device, and we're going to select Door Lock, and this is the Yale touchscreen deadbolt. Follow the supplied instructions in the installation manual before pairing the touchscreen deadbolt lock. Set up the master pin. Step number 1. Make sure to double check the owner's manual, as from time to time manufacturers do update their setup process. Now that you have set up your master pin, you can use it to pair the door lock with your Vera controller. Click Next to continue.
Menu mode. Enter number. Wireless module setting mode. Join the wireless network. Join the wireless network. Completed.
Once the physical pairing is complete, it will take a little bit of time for the lock to transfer its data into the controller. Now let's take a quick look at the settings for the lock. We start by clicking here. The state of the lock is lit up in green. If you want to change the state, you just click the other icon. We click here to add a PIN code. Just fill in the boxes and click Add PIN Code. If you want to see your PIN codes in the clear, check the box. To view your PIN codes, click here. You can see your PIN codes listed. You can also set up restrictions here. A daily restriction would allow a code to only be used for the days that it's designated, A weekly restriction would allow you to designate what day of the week and at what times a PIN code is able to be used. To view the lock's log, you click here. To see a specific event, you click on the icon here. To set up a notification, you click here, and this is the various different types of notifications that you can set for your lock. And these can be email, text, or an in-app notification. Your door lock can be integrated into a scene in a couple of different ways. It can be used as a trigger, and you can see the list of the number of different types of triggers your lock can provide. Your door lock can also be the device that's being controlled by a scene. An example in my house is that 15 minutes before sunset, every night I have certain lights in my house and my front light turn on and my front door lock automatically, just in case somebody left it unlocked. You can also set the state that you want the lock to be in for every mode, whether you want it to be locked or unlocked, just by pulling down the drop-down menu. Now we can begin the physical part of the installation. Next we'll remove the existing deadbolt, and all we need is a screwdriver. Remove these two screws. Okay, and there we go, we can remove it. So we'll just slide this from the inside to unlock our door. Then we'll remove the deadbolt itself. And then we can remove the deadbolt gently from just sliding it from inside. Now you want to make sure that when installing it that you orient the deadbolt correctly. And this is then going to go right back into the hole where the original deadbolt came from. And this is the beauty of direct replacement. It might take a little finagling to get it into place. There we go. And we screw it in. The beauty is that we can use our existing holes. And there you have it. Our next step is to insert our exterior module first. We want to make sure to route the cable underneath the deadbolt itself. It points that out in the instruction manual, and that will stay right there. So now we're going to mount the escutcheon for the other side, and we're going to put our rubber gasket on it again to keep things nice and watertight. So this goes on this side. And we want to make sure that the little rubber nubs, there you go, the little rubber nubs go into the holes so that everything is nice and tight. Then we bring our wiring cable through the bottom and we line up our slot with the receiver on the other side. There we go, nice and tight. And we'll get started with one of our screws. And there we go, ready for the next step. Before we mount the interior module, we need to remove this label that says cable hook, but take note that under here there is a hook for us to run the cable under before we plug it into the connector. So now that I've got my cable plugged in and I've got my wire under the clip, I'm going to make sure that I have got this with my knob here oriented properly to match the position of the slot for the deadbolt there. And I'm just going to line it up and right on it goes. And then I've got 3 screws that I need to install. I've got one here, and then one down at the bottom to secure it. And there we go. Now I can go ahead and reinstall my batteries.
Welcome to Yale Real Living.
And then finally, I can put my battery cover back on. The last step is to test it and make sure that your code and the door lock are working properly. So remember, direct replacement. That's what makes this a really easy process to do. If it's a doorknob that you're replacing, you want to replace it with a lever lock. If it's a deadbolt that you're replacing, you want to replace it with a deadbolt. Locks offer so many different options. You no longer have to leave a key for someone. If somebody's at your door, you can let them in remotely. If you have somebody that comes to your house regularly, like a housekeeper or a dog walker, you can set a code that's only good during certain times of day, and you can activate all of your cameras using your lock as a trigger so you can keep an eye on what's going on in the house when somebody's in the house. If you want to keep up on the latest Vera news, follow us on Facebook. If you want to see these videos as soon as I make them available, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If there's a topic that you'd like to see me cover, email me, training@getvera.com. And remember, at Vera, it's not about what we can do, it's about what you no longer have to do.